Hello everybody and welcome back to the next video in this series, and in this one we're going to make the October tag. The product that we need, or that I used, was the inks are Dusty Concord, Crushed Olive, Wild Honey and Black Soot. Let's just move those out of the way. And then various ink pads. I've got some VersaFine black ink for stamping, glossy accents, clear embossing enamel, embossing ink, a spritzer bottle with some water in to dye my vintage seam binding, the round-ended tool here, some distress crackle paint in clear rock candy, UT, some black distress stickles in the black soot, 2 pieces of seam binding that I've dyed with the purple ink, which was the Dusty Concord. That was just wet and dyed directly with the ink pad and then dried so that it went crinkly. 2 tags cut with the Tim Holtz bookplate, tag and bookplate die, and the 2 eyelets that go with that. I've got a stamped sentiment from a stamp set that I'll show you in a minute, a black spider, 2 bats, those I bought on eBay, hundreds of them I bought for £1. I've got a spooky hand and a pumpkin embellishment and an eyelet, and then the stamp set I used was the My Mind's Eye Haunted stamp set and the Festive Greenery Tim Holtz Alterations decorative strip, and I just cut the 2 curly greenery bits out of that. That's the stamp we're going to use. Some double-sided tape, oops, and some foam tape, and then I've got a corner rounder, scissors, sharp knife and some glue. And I nearly forgot the pumpkin cut from the Movers and Shapers pumpkin die, and then this is supposed to look like a tombstone. It doesn't really, I haven't got a tombstone die, but just a piece of card that I've used my X-cut corner rounder to trim off. So that's everything that we need to make the tag. And I forgot to mention the letters as well, if you're going to put the month on your tag. So I'm going to start by inking the tag first, and I'm going to take the Wild Honey ink, just move everything else out of the way. Let's just move those out of the way and zoom in. One of the tags I've put the double-sided tape on the back of already, and that's the back piece that sandwiches together. So I'm going to move that out of the way and start inking. So I'm going to use the Wild Honey ink first on my stamp pad, and my card's got a sort of mottled side to it, so I'm going to use that and just colour it orange down the middle. Just working in a round sort of motion. So put the orange on first, and then changing ink pads, I'm going to put the purple ink, which is the Dusty Concord, on next. So let's use this ink pad. working from the edge inwards this time, over the orange. And I am pressing quite hard. I'm just blending those colours as they meet. Love this purple. Straight line it. Go away. So just working that in all the way round to give that dark look. And then I'm just going to work some of the orange from the centre over the edge, just to get rid of all the cream of the card. And then the last colour I'm going to add to that is the black soot. And I'm going to lift the tag up for that and just work around the edges over the purple, and then down the side of the tag just to get rid of that cut edge. So I don't want to hide all of the purple. Ooh, sorry. That's it finished from an inking point of view. While I'm using the black ink, I'm also going to ink the letters. And then I'm just going to, let's bring them around here, I'm going to put some stickles on those and just let that dry. So I'm just colouring those black. Apologies for my really inky fingers. And then it's the black distress stickles I'm just going to put on the letters. So just squeeze some on and then I'll spread it about. Try and de-ink my fingers. So just a bit of sparkle on those, and then I'm just going to set them aside to dry. So that's those two, three. And then I'm going to take the pumpkin and colour that, because that one also needs to dry. We're going to put the rock candy paint on there. So I'm just using the wild honey ink and working that over the pumpkin. Pressing harder around the edges to get a darker colour, and then just quite lightly over the middle. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the crushed olive and just cover the stalk with that. And then just drag that around the edge as well. A little bit at the bottom. And then I'm just going to put a bit more of the orange. Build it up and it does go quite dark. Just around the side. And then I'm just going to crease it. Just sort of put a curved crease in because they never grow flat. They're always lumpy bumpy. And then I'm just going to use the green ink and just drag it over those creases just to highlight it a little bit. And now that's ready to have the rock candy, the crackle paint added. So let's just give that a shake. Mine is on its last legs, there's hardly anything left in the pot now. So I'm just going to dab that over the pumpkin and leave it to dry, and that will crack. And give a really nice finish. And the next thing to do, or the next thing I did, was taking the black VersaFine ink. I've taken the Haunted House, I don't know if you can, no, you probably can't see them on there, let's ink them up. The Haunted House stamp from the stamp set. And I'm going to stamp that on the tag. Just got in the right mess with that. I'll just put a bit more ink on it. My table's not really flat, but I'm going to stamp that part way up the tag. Just there. Let's just press it down. I'm not brilliant at stamping. I need to go to some classes, I think. So that's the Haunted House on. And now we can cover the tag with the clear embossing ink and emboss it. So I'm just going to work the clear ink around the edge of the tag. Just working up and round. And then I'm going to dip that in the embossing powder, the UT, and I'm going to double emboss it. So there it is with layer number 1 on. Now I'm just going to dry that and repeat that, and then that's the base of the tag finished. And then to decorate the tag, I've just got a small piece of card. It doesn't really look like a tombstone, but I put the letters on that one. So let's stick those on first. Just place them where I want them to go. And I'm just going to stick those down. Like that. It's not easy doing this upside down. Let's just move them. And the T. Just so they fitted across the top there. And then that one I stuck down. On my original tag I did put a calendar piece, just one of those little paper square calendars, but where I've put them I have no idea, so I'm not going to put that on, but I did ink one of those, crumple it up, ink the creases and stick that down first. So for this tag I'm just going to put this October piece on, and I've coloured it orange. I'm just going to put some green ink around the edge. Now I've got the letters on. Ooh, coming off. And then I'm just going to stick that one at an angle down there, just with some tacky glue on the back. Just there, I think. Just press that down. And then here's the pumpkin that's all crackled. I've gone over that with some green ink, and then I went over the edges with the black soot just to define them, and the pumpkin just sits down here. So I'm going to put that on some foam tape. So just 2 pieces of foam tape on the back of that. Take the backing off. And put the pumpkin down there in the corner. And then just to finish off that bottom bit, I had 2 swirls cut from the Festive Greenery decorative strip. And again, I'm just going to cover those in green ink. Just a little bit of black, just to dull down that green colour on the top. Then I took the sentiment and coloured it with all 4 inks just to shade it up, and then I'm just going to stick these pumpkin vines, they're supposed to be, just around the back of it before I stick it down. So I'm just going to attach that here, a bit under there, just to hold that one down, and then put this one on. Whoop. Just gets a bit fiddly. Just place them wherever you want them. Let's just stick that one down on the back, if you're following along. And that one just sat over the top of the pumpkin. And again, I put it on some foam tape. Just to raise it up. No, I can't get the backing off. and then I stuck that over the pumpkin at an angle down there. And then to finish off, just up here, I took a flat spider and using my rounded tool, I just rounded his body, which raised it up, and then I turned him over and flattened his legs out and just stuck him down. So let's do that. So I just put some glue on his legs. They're very thin, but and then just had him creeping down like that. And then I added a couple of bats up here. Over the house. So again, just a little bit of glue on the back of those. And the bigger one. And then the last thing to do is just the hole reinforcers. So I'm going to do mine green. So cover them with the ink. And stick that one on the front. Like that. And then I'm going to take the back piece for the tag and I'm going to put the hole reinforcer on that too. Just there. And then I'm going to take the purple ink and just work that around the edge of this tag, the back tag. And then I'm going to turn it over and just ink up to, I've put double-sided tape on this, ready to stick it to the front tag. So I'm just inking over those edges between the tag and the tape. And then I'm going to take the tape off. Quickly. Sticking. And then I'm going to line the top and the bottom pieces together, matching the holes as best I can. And then the sides, and just drop one over the other and press them down so that they stick, and that just finishes the tag off. Just pinch them all the way around, and then I've got my two pieces of seam binding to go through the top. This I've dyed with the Dusty Concord, so I'll just tie one through that way and one through just put it top to bottom. Oops. like that. And then I had a scary hand and a pumpkin that I put onto an eyelet. Let's just drop those on. And I just put them through the seam binding. Just looped that eyelet through the seam binding, out the other side and closed it up, which is not easy. So, and they just hung down like that. And then to finish off, I put glossy accents over the bats and a bit of sparkle on the spider. Let's just move that out of the way, just to make them shiny. And then glossy accents on the letters as well, just to raise those up. And a bit of sparkle on the spider. Let's move it up there. Just on his body, make him look hairy. And there it is, that's the October tag finished. So I hope you've enjoyed making that one, and I look forward to taking you through how I made my November tag in the next video.